could expect to see this season?
Well, this is season 4 of Transplant. I play Dr. Bashir Hamed. He's a trauma surgeon and a refugee from Syria. And in this season, we see him completing his final year of residency in Toronto's York Memorial Hospital in a time where he has freshly broken up with the love of his life. He's still trying to take care of his 14-year-old sister, and he's competing for the one available fellowship position in the hospital. So a lot of high stakes.
Nice. And what ways do you relate to your character, or if you don't, which ways do you want to?
Pardon me? Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
So, in what ways do you relate to your character, or if you don't, which ways do you want to?
Um, so the thing is, what Bashir and I have in common is obviously a severe insecurity about having employment. I think, I said earlier, I think Bashir sees his vocation as an extension of not only himself, but an extension of his faith and an extension of everything that he does. And that's something that I can relate to tremendously. Like I am just as ambitious and possibly even obsessive about acting as Bash and irresponsible about it as Bashir is about um, saving people's lives. Obviously, the stakes are higher in his world, but yeah, to compete with your own friends, to compete with people that you love for a scarce job is something that I feel like any actor can relate to. So yeah.
Very nice. And what was the biggest challenge about playing the role?
To obviously if you're talking about war, if you're talking about conflict, and you're talking about representing an entire conflict, you the most important thing is to do justice to anybody who went through a particular circumstance. I'm Pakistani and I'm Canadian, and I grew up in the Middle East, but I do not have that experience of being a refugee. I do not have the experience of being a Syrian. Um, I don't have that background. So it was imperative that I did everything that I could. And with the support of not only my co-stars, but the showrunner and all of our consultants, our Syrian refugee consultants who lent their voices to this character, in dialect coaching and medical training and all of these things, it has to be and feel authentic and respectful to the people that went through these horrible circumstances. So the most challenging thing of it was to try to find a way to tell the story as humanly as possible, because you don't want to get into the zone of just mining somebody's trauma for the purposes of a TV show. You want to be able to portray a human being who has gone through extenuating circumstances and show their humanity and that they deserve love and that they work hard and they deserve to contribute. And um, just because they come from a different part of the world or have a different set of beliefs than anyone watching doesn't mean that they don't have emotions and experiences that deserve recognition.
And what was your favorite part about playing the character?
Um, I feel like the whole experience, just to people, like I know it's cliche, but like the real job is the friends you make along the way. And I know that's such a cliche thing, but when you work on a show for 4 seasons over 5 years, six including the COVID break, um, you really you really build a level of trust and an emotional connection to everybody that you work with. And I was so grateful to have made so many wonderful connections, um, that yeah, like every day, so frequently, it was just a lot of fun to do. And you get to breathe life into a character that you didn't know you could breathe life into, and for audiences to respond to it so well, and for the story to be told so emotionally and so truthfully. Sitting back after a year and a half after it's wrapped and watching it now, I'm just truly grateful to have had that experience. And I hope that's a specific enough answer, because I feel like I just said the whole thing was my favorite part, but um, it really was, like, from learning, going to medical boot camps to learning Arabi, and playing with all of my wonderful co-stars, to shooting on location, working in a studio, getting to keep so many of the clothes afterwards. Like, every aspect of it was 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 wonderful, and I'm truly grateful for it. Alhamdulillah.
And tell me about you work with some amazing co-stars. Tell me a little bit about that. Kind of got into that before, but I want to hear more about everybody you've worked with and that experience,
I
getting
mean,
to know everyone.
that's just such a long list of people. Honestly, like, to everything from getting to work with, Serena, who's a child, coming into this show, and at a time where, like, I was I was a new father, to be able to see somebody grow up, and like, right in front of your eyes, and into adolescence, was just a great experience. To the fact that, Laurence, who plays Mags, we really built a wonderful relationship from the ground up in Bash and Mags, and there's a true connection and intimacy that exists between them, that was just so wonderful to play with a co-star who's so generous enough to actually connect with you. It's a lot of vulnerability that's required to, Aisha Issa. That was one of my big complaints. Um, that June and Bash didn't have enough scenes together. Just the two of them. That was, a lot of fun. And as the seasons progress and the storylines change, you work with some people more, you work with some people less, and none of that is more evident than the fact that, we got two great seasons with John Hannah, and then he leaves in season three, and to have somebody of his caliber and his experience to come in and support us. A lot of us, this was our first big thing, and for him to be there for that, and champion us, and lend his talents to it, was just so wonderful. And we did 49 episodes, and so I can't tell you how many guest stars came in and were just absolute treats to work with. So, big shout out also goes to Ellie Shankji, who played Bashir's childhood friend, Saleh. There's a scene at the end of season three where, these two men who have had to flee Syria as a result of war, um, find themselves in Lebanon, helping, working as doctors at a refugee camp again, at the border of Syria, and just are able to connect again and love each other again and go home to their families. And it's just such a beautiful story, because so much in media, and so much today, we're seeing a lot of Arab men and Muslim doctors. They don't have the opportunity to go back home, and they don't even have the opportunity to contribute in the way that they do. So, to be able to tell a positive, beautiful story of not one but two Muslim men who fled horrible circumstances and went back to help, and then are still taking care of their families, I think it's a story that we desperately need today.
Absolutely. Well, we are out of time, unfortunately. You're
Okay.
amazing. I just want to say how proud I am of you, and I can't
Oh,
wait to
thank
talk
you.
again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sammy.
You're welcome. Have a good one.